Ciao, ciao. My name is Melina, and this semester I have gotten the wonderful opportunity to not only spend my semester in Rome, but to also spend my semester helping out and interning at cooking classes in Rome with Chef Andrea. It has been an absolutely wonderful experience. Chef Andrea is not only a wonderful teacher, but is also the most kind of down-to-earth person that I've met in a really long time. So typically these cooking classes are really just a fun thing for people to come and do. And they usually are set up foolproof. It's amazing to me how he does it, but nothing can go wrong in these classes. So it's kind of a great thing for families, for friends, for couples to come and do while they're exploring Rome. So a typical class usually can range from anywhere to like 25 people coming here on a trip, a bunch of classmates, or just a really large family, or you can have as small as just a couple in their 60s who are on vacation for the first time and have been wanting to learn how to cook Roman cuisine. So essentially how these classes work is the clients will come in, the table's already set up for them. Chef Andrea has already given me a rundown kind of on the menu that we're going to do today. Sometimes a wine or soda is included with the group's package when they're coming in, so I'll kind of know ahead of time what's going on kind of drink-wise. Menu-wise, depending on the two different options that the couple chooses. Chef Andrea is really great and usually gives people options for what they want to do. Funny enough, most people choose the same menus just because it's really common cuisine and different things that people just really want to make. So with a bigger group, you'll typically have an appetizer, a main course, and a dessert. With the larger groups, you'll typically have an appetizer, a first course, a second course, and a dessert. So with the bigger groups, we'll kind of have a simpler menu because there's a lot of people to cook for. That menu consists of these fried pizzas with a bunch of different toppings on them. Those are really easy to make once you have the dough ready, and you can just form them into circles and they're fried. And while those are being fried, people are working on the different toppings. And usually always you make a pasta. With larger groups, it'll usually be something like fettuccine or tagliatelle instead of, let's say, a ravioli or gnocchi. That's because these shapes take a lot less time to make, especially when you have to make so much for so many people. So depending on how many people there are, that's how much flour and that's how many eggs that we combined. People love to make pasta. It's just such a fun thing, especially for families. And for dessert, typically with these bigger groups, we'll do like lava cakes or apple crumble, different things like that. In terms of the smaller groups, this is kind of where there's more customization because you have less people to cook for and kind of more time to do that. So with these smaller groups, we'll typically have an appetizer, which sometimes is the pizzas, but also more recently, because they're in season, were previously in season, it would be artichokes, or now squash blossoms or zucchini blossoms, whatever you'd like to call them. We also had fried zucchini as well with pesto's dipping sauces. So those are really nice, and the couple gets to enjoy those while they're cooking and even after they're cooking when they get to finally sit down. For a first course, for smaller groups, we usually do ravioli or gnocchi. And ravioli is just really fun to make, especially because we are kind of coming out of the winter season and you get to put ricotta and spinach together and it's absolutely delicious. For the second course, we'll usually do either saltimbocca, which is really, really popular, with veal, prosciutto, and sage, or we'll do just a classic meatball situation. Those are absolutely delicious, and typically Chef Andrea will bring side dishes. Those can be anything from broccoli rabe, fava bean salad, different things like that. And then with smaller groups for dessert, we usually do tiramisu or some sort of version of that. We've done a strawberry tiramisu before, but it's just all really delicious and totally fun to make. Besides that, my role is kind of helping out in the kitchen, kind of making sure everything's going right, serving, cleaning up dishes, different things like that. But I think more importantly, my role really turned into me kind of entertaining, getting to know people, really talking to clients and making them feel comfortable in the space. Not that they didn't already, but kind of making them feel more comfortable in such kind of a foreign situation to a lot of them. A lot of them haven't cooked before, so it's definitely such a fun thing to get to know people, get to know where they're from, because even though I was told in the beginning most people are going to be Americans, in which they were, a lot of people come in that do speak English but are from different countries like Serbia, Sweden, different places like that around Europe, and it's just kind of really fun to get to know their cultural values and kind of what they have experienced before in their lives. Chef Andrea has been really happy with me kind of talking to everything. He told me the other day that I could talk to a tree if I wanted to, but I really just love to make people feel comfortable, and I can talk about basically anything, so it's just kind of a great thing that I get to do. I entertain at Trinity. It's kind of my job with the president and in admissions and different things like that, so it's definitely great to kind of bring that over to Italy and be able to do that as well. Besides that, just the stuff that I've learned, Chef Andrea has taught me so many life lessons and so many recipes for that matter. I knew how to cook before coming into Chef Andrea's, but I definitely didn't know how to cook Italian, maybe Italian-American, but not Italian. And it's just so great to see how simple these recipes are and how seasonally based they really are, because that's Italian culture, especially going from region to region. Things change, and that I didn't really understand until Chef Andrea was explaining it to his clients. So it was definitely, I was there to help out, but I was learning so much as well. It was just so cool to see him yell at people when they were stirring things. He's like, don't stir it. The more you stir it, the worse it's going to taste. Different things like that. So it was just such a great experience, and I feel like I can't put it into words, but not only was Chef Andrea so great in welcoming me, but we had a bunch of jokes. We laughed with clients. We just had a wonderful time cooking and eating and having so much fun all in between. It's definitely was such a great experience for me, and I wish I could stay for longer. In the scope of intercultural communication, I was exposed to not only Italian culture, but a bunch of other cultures. So it was so cool to learn how different people kind of interacted without kind of knowing each other's culture. So with Chef Andrea, like obviously he's touchy, he's Italian, that's what it is. And it took some getting used to, because in the States we aren't really like that. But in terms of different cultures, like I remember we had some Swedish guests, and they came decked out in heels and beautiful dresses and were ready to cook, and they weren't going anywhere and weren't anywhere that day. So it's just kind of like the way they dress, the way they communicate. Some people don't like being close to one another. They want space. Others don't mind it at all. Different things like that. I've learned talking with clients that will call like a crosswalk a different name, different things like that. It's just super cool to witness. Besides that, hand gestures, different things like that. Chef Andrea's taught me some of those. We also get into funny conversations. I just had a group of people from Western Alabama, and they taught me about different things with football culture, because I started talking about football as soon as I heard Alabama. And it's just kind of been a really great experience to not only see different cultures throughout the world, but also see different cultures throughout America as well, because Chef Andre does get a lot of American clients. So kind of having that more social, communicative event already has kind of prompted me to discover different ways that individuals communicate and act based on kind of the situation they're in, and to learn more about their cultural values and how they value certain aspects of their lives differently than we do. It's just kind of been a great way to kind of really jump into this culture, because I kind of only know American culture, so it's been really great. In terms of reflecting on this entire experience, I, again, really can't put into words how great of a time I had. As I left the other day, I felt like I had to cry. I felt like I was kind of losing something, but it's really given so much to me. Not only has it kind of made me be more outgoing in this new culture, it's also kind of taught me that, there is a skill set that I have that I didn't recognize in the States. I've always been told I talk too much, which is honestly probably true. But for the jobs that I do work, it's kind of vital. A lot of people don't have people skills, and for me, it's kind of made the difference in terms of the jobs that I've had. So kind of having that be recognized, especially by Chef Andrea, he couldn't stop talking about it the first time. I really connected with a client. I think it was my second cooking class, and I just kind of realized that, maybe I am really good at talking to people, and maybe this should be my job, and it's allowed me to kind of think about pursuing different things, maybe not in hospitality, but something similar. And it's just definitely given me a lot of confidence in the kitchen as well. Confidence in cooking, confidence in the kitchen, and it's just kind of opened my eyes to a whole new culture. I remember seeing how Chef Andrea would make tomato sauce, for example, and would say never mix garlic and onion, and that's what we do in America. So it was definitely so cool to kind of see these cultural differences, learn how to do it the right way, and overall just kind of come out of my time in Rome with such a positive experience. I really think it kind of not helped my experience, but kind of enhanced it to a whole nother level. And I just really can't be thankful enough to Chef Andrea. I always was so excited to go, and I always had such a great time, even if I was there till 11 p.m. So it was just so nice to be able to, after a long day, go and have some really good food, because I would get fed too, always. But to just kind of go and have a conversation with him and see how he's doing for the day, and just laugh and have a lot of fun cooking and get to know new people, because those are kind of my favorite things. But I just, again, loved my experience and can't thank Trinity College Rome enough, and Chef Andrea, especially Chef Andrea, enough for the wonderful, beautiful experience that I had this semester. Mwah.